We're going to talk about locating a place using Google Earth to create a composition for our next painting. Our pieces are going to be what I call Google Earthscapes. They are compositions where you locate someplace on Google Earth and we abstract it. The biggest key right now is finding someplace that's important to you and someplace that has a good composition. These are some samples from prior students, and I want you to note maybe it's your use of color, so these two accents of orange is going to give them a good composition. This is kind of an interesting breakup of space. We have small and large angular forms. Piece works well. This one is more recognizable as a particular location. I don't recall where it is, but these were probably buildings in Google Earth, and I'm going to guess this is all roadways. So you may be able to tell it's a place, or it may be a little less obvious. This one is easy glass. This is the building. This is the tennis courts and the track, and this is the baseball field area. And this student did like this because it was very personal to them. Compositionally, they've got a more complex area over here. We're repeating ovals, so that's going to work. And this network of roads ends up making the composition work successfully. This one's a little more obvious if you know what it is. It's the White House and the ellipse. This is the ellipse and the White House. Obvious. This one is a little less clear that it is a location, but compositionally a very strong piece. We have something that has a lot of complexity here, an accent that's complex here. It's on the 1/3 axis. That's a good location. The spaces are dissimilar in shapes and sizes, but yet they all kind of have this organic curvature to most of the surfaces. Good design. This is probably just a roadway somewhere near a town or a place that meant something to them. This looks like a road interchange, probably. I would have been happy if the composition would be a little bit lower so you get that 1/3 axis, but we have a strong center of interest, repeating curved shapes, lots of different sizes. Well done. This is one of my favorite ones. Really strong center of interest, good use of repetition, whatever this was. The linking of all these pieces with this network of dark lines works really well. They may have been roads or paths or just division between spots. And then this repetition of these curved shapes that occurs in some of these spaces is really well done. And another one where we have another really strong center of interest. Good use of repetition. We have all these vertical lines. That's going to work really well. This shape is kind of implied here again. This person didn't make this up. This is something they found on Google Earth. The trick is to find something that's going to work. Here we have something that this becomes your center of interest. Good use of being on the 1/3 axis. This is inorganic, so they're very straight and rectilinear. Here we have a lot of organic shapes, a variety of sizes, good balance of use, and then that network of roads or lines in between kind of ties it all together. Another one where the center of interest is more central, but what causes this to be the center of interest is it's very plain compared to the complexity of everything else around it. And if you notice, there's a repeating shape that occurs here, and of course these shapes are repeating. Now, good strong center of interest here because it's got more complexity, smaller shapes, kind of framed out, but we have those same things, kind of framing lines, basic shapes that are very inorganic, a nice little accent of an organic one in here, but the center of interest is running on that 1/3 axis, and that's always a good point. In your Google Classroom, you'll find this document. You need to pick out a few things. I want you to find some places on Earth that are meaningful to you. Where do you live? I live in Lynchburg, Virginia. Where was I born? I was born in Sioux City, Iowa. I really grew up, for the most part, in Springfield, Virginia. So I think that one would probably be more interesting to me. A special place to you or someone in your family. My twin sons currently go to Virginia Tech. So that's in Blacksburg, Virginia. Okay, that would be a good one. Place I would love to go. I would love to go to Athens, Greece. Oops, Athens. All right, so I've made a commitment now for a few places. What I'd like you to do is have that somewhere in your notebook, so you can refer to it when it's your turn to go to Google Earth. You'll be able to locate it. All right, now how do we get this? I don't need to save my changes. You may want to. I'm going to get rid of that document. Google Earth. Here you will find Google Earth. We have a couple projection units set up in the room. You'll have to take turns to get to it, but you won't have any problem when you get there. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up Google Earth, close this first thing, and then what you need to do is type in something that's on your list. So if I put Springfield, Virginia, all right, and I click on that Google, and then I'm going to go to search. Google Earth's going to take me right down to Springfield. I may not find something I like the first time, and I could zoom in. This isn't a lot of information yet. I want to zoom in tighter, so I'm going to use this scroll bar over here, and I'm going to go where it's towards plus, and I'm going to go up. Hold my, all right, and I can come in and zoom in. Probably going to have to get a pretty tight image to make this interesting. All right, so this is kind of cool. There's a road interchange. And I could see this curve and these two circles that are part of that interchange and this nice repeating form here. It might make a really interesting composition. I could use this area here as my piece if I want. Keep in mind when I'm doing this, I'm going to put a piece of paper up on the board. This image is going to be projected onto the whiteboard, and you can just tape your paper straight on the board. It doesn't even have to be vertical. So if I decide I want this to be the vertical axis, I can put my paper up in this shape. I may not want anything in that area. I may want to go closer. I may want to zoom out. All right, if I don't like anything there, I can start pushing around and see if there's something else I think is interesting. And just kind of look around and see what's there. I could actually go to my neighborhood if I wanted to do that. I could actually put the street I was born at. This is my address that I grew up at. And there it is. Let's see what happens. It's going to go right to my home that I grew up at. There we go, somewhere. All right, and here, right here is the house I grew up in, but maybe I would want to do this neighborhood. Okay, so, maybe this would be an interesting area to do. Maybe I would want to scroll in more. Maybe I don't like this area at all, and I have to go back and say, all right, I'm going to try a new place. Let's see what's in Athens. Never been there. Oops, keep forgetting the S. Alright. Google is going to take me over to Athens, Greece. There it is. I wish I knew where the Acropolis was, but I'm not certain where that is. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and see if I can find something that I think is an interesting composition. And this may take you a little while. You can do this if you have access to Google Earth on a different computer and find something you like. And if you pay attention to the numbers that are right here on your screen, these numbers here, because this is degrees and minutes and seconds on longitude and latitude. This is going to give you your longitude and latitude location. So if you write those down because you find a place on a different computer before you get to the overhead, you may be able to locate that same place. All right, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to put my cursor right here because this looks kind of interesting. I'm going to zoom in here. There's an interesting area with some good center of interest here. You just kind of have to play around with it. I think this looks like it's probably the Acropolis. You can zoom in tighter. That would be what it is. How cool is that red? Maybe something there would work out for you. Anyhow, you need to just look around till you find something that works for you, something that's meaningful for you. Keep in mind, if you do this at home, or if you're able to do it on your Chromebook, or on a different computer before you get to the overhead, the projection unit, you can write these numbers down so that you can locate exactly where you thought you were, so you can get back to the same place. Anyway, happy hunting!